Hexagons in nature. Why nature loves hexagons? Have you ever wondered why there are so many hexagons in nature? Hexagons in particular are often seen in nature. Beehives are a common example but definitely not the only. Basalt columns and insect eyes also form hexagonal patterns. A hexagon is the shape that best fills with a plane, equal size units and leave no wasted space. There are some examples of hexagons in real life. The honeycomb. Honeycomb is a mass of hexagonal prismatic wax cells built by honeybees in their nest to contain the larvae and stores of honey and pollen. If the honeycomb is too worn out, the wax can be reused in a number of ways, including making sheets of combs foundation with hexagonal pattern. Hex finish nuts are used for fastening the hex cap, screw socket, screw, or bolt. The most common nuts, hex finish nuts, are hex shaped with eternal threads. The surface of a tortoise shell is covered in bony geometrical shapes called scutes that are packed tightly together. The scutes in the center of shells are hexagons. A picture of textured surface of pineapple as a background stalk. A photo pineapple has a natural textured surface in a hexagonal pattern. The most common shape in nature is hexagon. Mathematically, the hexagon has 6 sides. What makes a particular shape so interesting is that the hexagonal shape best fills a plane with equal size units and leaves no wasted space. Hexagonal packing also minimizes the perimeter for a given area because of 120-degree angles. A shape with 6 sides is one of the most common shapes in nature, from honeycombs to turtles and patterns found in fruit skins. Hexagon is present everywhere. And now let us all see the video presentation of my groupmates regarding to the video and guide questions assigned to them.
Now, what is math concept is fully discussed on your assigned video. In math concept, the hexagon shape that is made up of straight lines is two-dimensional shape with 6 sides, 6 vertices, and 6 edges. Also, the name is divided into hex, which means 6, and gonia, which means corners. Now, question number 2. What is about this concept? Cite few more real-world cases of examples that show the concept. My answer. This concept shows that hexagon is the most common shape in nature. And there are some examples of hexagon in real life, like the honeycomb has attracted the attention of humans for contributions. Also the pineapple. And question number 3. What are your insights about these mathematical truths or certainties? My answer. First, the insight about this mathematical is the fact that mathematical knowledge is true with certainty does not of itself cause beliefs in its certainty. Those shape my expectations and view of my mathematical, including the development of reinforcement of beliefs in mathematical. Thank you.
Question. What math concept is fully discussed in your assigned video? For me, a concept of the mathematics is that he agrees and understands the deep understandings of right and wrong so that in order to be aware of all the unnatural understandings that things provides instruction to be further developed, you yourself as a person, you need to get a high level of understanding of the concept of mathematics, then so that our future understandings can be better organized as and we can maintain our nature as one who tube and much to know about the concept of the mathematics. Next question. What is about concept? Cite few more real world cases or examples that would show the concept. For me, the real world or concepts in which you live in the world, you have to live in the world when you deserve it, because you have the life that you have to live, that and that is real, and you have to justify the thing that you deserve to reach out and think about what you are going to do so that where your life is lived there is peace and you can develop it along with your creation of real concept of the real world. Last question. What are your insights about these mathematical truths or certainties? For me, mathematical truths or certainties is something that many do but few reach certain abilities, because it is a certainty, things that need to happen so that everyone who desires it can be a certain person, to that the higher the concept of you doing this things and persevere until we do the thing we ought to achieve, so that it is not in vain and we can further improve our study as a people of the world. That's all. Thank you.
I'm Jetro Simabras from Section Papa. The math concept that fully discussed in our assigned video is the golden ratio and Fibonacci in music. The math concept being discussed was all about golden ratio and Fibonacci in music. How we can say if a certain thing a golden ratio, indefinite numbers and irrational numbers pi are considered to be golden ratios. Golden ratio, or something called as the golden section or divine proportion, is considered to be mathematical ratio you can find almost anywhere, like in designs, paintings, and music. It approximately equal to the value of pi, which is 1.618. Series of numbers have become inspirational across the world we dwell in. These numbers that can be seen almost anywhere you can look, or anything you hear, is considered to be a golden ratio. Math is often referred as the language of science, interesting how music, written, or so to speak, in math as well. Art and science are often viewed as being so different, but they have more in common that most realize: the mix of science, numbers, nature, music, and chemistry. If you want to know more about the golden ratio and Fibonacci in music, just please keep on watching this video.
First question. What math concept is fully discussed in your assigned video? The math concept being discussed was all about the golden ratio and Fibonacci in music. How we can say if a certain thing is a golden ratio? Indefinite numbers and irrational numbers are considered to be golden ratios. Question number 2. What is about this concept? Cite few more real-world cases or example that would show the concept. Golden ratio, or sometimes called as the golden section or divine proportion, is considered to be a mathematical ratio. You can find almost anywhere, like in designs, painting, and music. It is approximately equal to the value of phi, which is 1.618. 618. Series of numbers have become inspirational across the world with built-in. These numbers that can be seen almost anywhere you look at or anything you hear is considered to be a golden ratio. What are your insights about these mathematical truths or certainties? The Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio are fascinating ideas to look at on their own. They are analyzed a lot in physical art such as painting and nature. However, not much is researched in their connection to music.
Hello, good day everyone. My name is Remart Sigeral, first year criminology from section Papa. So today we will tackle about hexagon in nature. So, you have ever wandered around nature? You may have noticed how many geometric shapes there are in the world that have absolutely no design from humans. Take snails, shells, spirals, or starfishes, bodies, or the symmetry of flower petals. All those nature-wide things are out there on their own, existing in near mathematical perfection. Hexagons, in particular, are often seen in nature. Beehives are the common example, but definitely not the only. Basal columns in the insect eyes also from hexagonal patterns. The example of hexagonal in nature are the following: beehives, katong iyahang kuan balay-balay, pineapple kanayang panit, nag-form na siya hexagonal pattern. Rocks, the shell of the turtle also, the hexagonal pattern, the flowers, and many more. But what makes hexagons so special? Well, it turns out it really is all about math. Hexagon in a shape is the best spells a plane with equal size units and leaves no wasted space. Hexagonal packing also minimizes the perimeter for a given area because of its 120 degree angles. With this structure, the fall of surface tension in each direction is most mechanically stable, which is why even though bees make their honeycombs with circular units, the end result when the wax hardens into place is hexagonal. So, I hope you learned something to this video. Yun lang po at maraming salamat. Keep safe.
What math concept is fully discussed in your assigned video? The math concepts that tackled in the video is the math or the number is also in music in a spiral pattern, and the piece of music can make sense like harmony, dynamics, and etc. Some people call it gold ratio. The golden ratio is the rational number pi, and pi is doesn't end. What is about this concept? Cite few more real words, cases, or examples that would show the concept. Golden spiral many believe that it grows in nature, and all numbers ratio can be connected into spiral, and lot of people see this golden spiral everywhere, like in the paintings, snail, galaxy, humans, and etc. And that's the real world examples in the golden spiral. What are your insights about mathematical truth or certainties? My insights of truth and explanations of Fibonacci is it can be the piece of music, golden spiral through the nature, so I can say that the math is it can be part of the nature, art, music, because we can hear and see through the object we see in this world.
Good day, sir. I am Carl Vincent M. Hinogin, B.S. Cream, first year college, section Papa. Discussing about natures in hexagon group 2. Why hexagon is better known in the universe? So, hexagon are some of the most common shapes in nature, and while animals cannot do math, we can. And thanks to math, we can come to the conclusion that hexagon is the most efficient shape in nature and in the world. But how do animals know this? We cannot say that, but we can do the math to prove the efficiency of hexagonal shape leaves no wasted space and best fills any space you put it. The perfect example is the honeycomb, and we start off from there. So hexagon in nature, honeycomb, a structure of rows of hexagonal wax cells formed by bees in their hive for the storage of honey, pollen, and their eggs. So that is the first example of hexagons in nature. So the second is the turtle. The surface of a tortoise shell is covered in bony geometrical shape called scutes that are packed tightly together. The scutes in the center of the shell are hexagon. So that is the second example of the hexagons in nature. So the third is the nuts and bolts. The last nuts and bolts. Bolts and nuts are designed with a hexagonal shape because it makes them easy to turn. With 6 sides, you can turn a fastener just 1/6 of the way to reach the next flat parallel. So that is the third example of hexagon in nature, and so on and so on. So why natures love hexagon? The hexagon is the strongest shape known. Not many people know this, but if you want something to hold a lot of weight, pick a hexagon. Hexagonal patterns are prevalent in nature due to their efficiency. In hexagonal grid, each line is as short as it can possibly be if a large area is to be filled with the fewest numbers of hexagons. This means that honeycombs require less wax to construct and gain lots of strength under compression. It's also one of the only shapes which tessellates perfectly. So that's it. Thank you.
Good day, sir. I'm Ivan Orlimulitan. The video that I watched is about the golden ratio and Fibonacci sequence is the music. From the video, I understood that golden ratio is a rational number for phi, or approximately 1.618, can be found almost anywhere, even the music. The notes of shows to the phrasing and dynamics. It's just a coincidence but part of a natural order, which is a golden ratio. One great example of golden ratio is a shape rectangle. If you can sequence from a rectangle, the part of will be left is another rectangle, which of some golden from the ratio proportion. This pattern bring me the Fibonacci sequence. The pattern starts with 0, then each following number is a sum of the two before it. As the sequence goes is highest, the ratio between the number gets closer to 1.618 or pi. I learned that this sequence explains growth like the golden spiral that is formed when we connect the corners of the square with an arc. My excited about the video is that number of are pansitting because they do not just exist when we calculate something, but they simply exist anywhere and anytime.
Hi guys, I'm Neil James Dumangas. So the concept fully discussed on the video is all about the golden ratio and the Fibonacci in music. So let's start with the concept of the golden ratio. It says there that the golden ratio is the irrational number pi, and like pi, it doesn't end. I know you see a golden ratio, but did you know that you can hear it? Okay, have you ever noticed how some pieces of music just seems to make sense? The notes, the chords, the phrases, and dynamic and harmony, they can all feel like they were meant to go together. And my insight about the mathematical truth or certainties is that the fact that mathematical knowledge is truth with certainty does not of itself cause belief in its certainty. The shape of expectation and view of mathematics, including the development and reinforcement of beliefs in the certainty of mathematical knowledge. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, classmates. I am Rainier Lee Barley, first year criminology from section Papa. So for me, the concept fully discussed on the video is all about the golden ratio. Since the beginning of time phi, also known as golden ratio, it has inspired the world around us. Have we ever noticed how some pieces of music just seem to make sense? From the notes and chords to the phrasing and dynamics, they can all feel like they were one to go together. Many people believe this is not a coincidence, but the golden ratio in action. The host, Nari and LA explored this phenomenon and create their own composition inspired by the golden ratio. So now let's talk about the concept of golden ratio, and I will give you some example on how it show up in nature. So for example, if you go out and look at the flowers and you start counting flowers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on, most of the time you find a Fibonacci number. Think about like if you were gonna grow up and plant lots of seeds on a flower, you wouldn't just wanna equally spread them out. As you got farther away from the center, there'd be too much space. Nature doesn't want that, right? Nature wants the sunflower to procreate, so the more seeds, the better. It turns out the optimal angle of where they're arranging themselves is related to the golden ratio. So put that all together and you've got kind of nice and beautiful like Mother Nature. What could be more beautiful than mountains and flower and streams, right? Perhaps that's why musicians have gravitated towards on it in terms of you're writing a piece of your music and have a climax in your piece. You're gonna put it in a little off center. So maybe you tend to gravitate towards something like the golden ratio. And lastly, the fact that mathematical information is true with certainty does not in and of itself induce belief in its certainty. This impact our development and reinforcement beliefs in mathematical knowledge certainty. Mathematics is not just a shape, a number, and also it is not just a problem to solve. It is life although. And thank you and God bless them.
Question number 1. What math concept is fully discussed on your assigned video? So, for me, a concept of mathematics is understand the deed and rights so that in order to be aware of all natural understanding and also you can develop yourself, you need to high level of understanding of the mathematics. So, question number 2. What is about this concept? Cite few home real-world cases or example that would show the concept. So, for me, the real world or concept in which truly in this world you have to live and world when you deserve it. Because you have to justify the things that you deserve to reach out. So question number 3. What are your insights about these mathematical truths or certainties? So for me, mathematical truths or certainties is something that many do but few research abilities, because it is a certainty things that need to happen so that everyone who deserve it can be a certain person. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Ray from the section Papa. The video presentation. Number 1. What math concept is fully discussed in your assigned video? The math concept that fully discussed about our assigned video is about the Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence is a set of the numbers that start in 1 or 0, then followed by and so on. It is about to know how to get the following numbers, how to solve to get the following numbers. Number 2. What is about the concept? Cite few more or real world cases of example that would show the concept. Golden ratio is the ratio of line segment cut into two pieces of different length such that the ratio of the whole segment to that of the longer segment is equal to the ratio of the longer segment to the shorter segment. In music, the golden ratio is used as the internal between carrier and modulator, such the resulting the timbre is an inharmonic cloud of golden ratio related to partial. Example: Fibonacci and P are used in the design of violins and even in the design of high quality speaker wire. Number 3. What are your insights about these mathematical truths or certainties? My insight about these mathematical truths or certainties is to find a way or a solution to solve the numbers that follow each numbers are written.